Ever found yourself wondering about the difference between saying I watched and I was watching? I mean, they both talk about the past, right? But they paint totally different pictures. In this explainer, we're going to solve this common English puzzle and show you how to tell a much better story.
So look at these two sentences. On the surface, they seem almost the same. But that one tiny change from watch to was watching, it completely changes the mental image, doesn't it? By the end of this, you're going to know exactly why and which one to use when.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the past simple. You want to know the easiest way to remember this one? Just think of it as the tense for things that are completely finished. Over, done. Yeah, the really crucial thing here is that the past simple treats an event like a single finished block of time. It had a beginning, it had an end, and it's all stuck firmly in the past. It's kind of like taking a single photograph of a moment that's already happened.
Now, the good news. For most verbs in English, what we call the regular ones, making the past simple is super easy. You literally just take the verb, like work or play, and you stick ed on the end. So work becomes worked, play becomes played. Simple as that.
Of course, you know English. It just loves to have exceptions. And that brings us to this little group of troublemakers called irregular verbs. They don't follow that nice ed rule. Nope, they've got their own unique past forms that, well, you've just got to learn them. For example, buy becomes bought, not buy it. So the past simple actually has three main jobs. First, it's for a single completed action, like I ate lunch. It's done, it's finished. Second, it's for a habit you used to have, like I drank orange juice as a child. And third, it can describe a state of being in the past, like I wanted to be a firefighter. You see how all of those are completely in the past? Okay, let's move on to our second tense, the past continuous. Now, if the past simple is that finished photograph, I want you to think of the past continuous as a movie clip. It is all about an action that was ongoing, in progress, or just setting the scene. Its whole job is to show an action that started in the past and was still going on at a specific moment. It kind of stretches out the time and drops us right into the middle of the action. So this tense, it's way less about the result and much more about the process. And here's the formula. It's always a two-part verb. You just need the past tense of to be, so that's going to be was or were, and then you add the main verb with an ing at the end. For example, I was working, but they were singing. It's a really simple pattern once you get the hang of it. So what's it good for? Well, for one, it shows an action that was in progress at a very specific time. Like, at 8 p.m. last night, I was watching TV. That means you'd already started and you weren't finished yet. It's also fantastic for setting the scene in a story. The sun was shining, the birds were singing. See, it creates an atmosphere. And finally, you can use it to really emphasize how long something took. He was working all night. All right, this is where it all comes together. The real magic happens when we start using both of these tenses in the same sense. This is how you start telling really dynamic stories. So first, you set the scene with the past continuous. This is your long background action, the thing that was already happening. For instance, he was working on his desk. We can picture him there, right? Already in the middle of his work. Then, bam! Something suddenly happens to interrupt that background action. And this interrupting event, it is always in the past simple. It's a short, quick, completed action, like Maggie entered his room. And when you put those two parts together, you get this perfect, story-rich sentence. The long action was working gets interrupted by the short action entered. 1/10 gives you the context, and the other one gives you the key event. It's brilliant. So let's just lock this in, because this is the most important rule of all. The past continuous is the long background movie clip. The past simple is the sudden camera flash that happens right in the middle of it. Scene and interruption. So after all that, what's the big takeaway here? Let's try and boil this whole thing down to its absolute simplest form. Here it is, the core difference in a nutshell. Think of the past simple as the finished story. It's the main event. But the past continuous, that's the background story. It's the context. One is the headline, the other is the setting. And now, a final thought just to make this really stick. Think about it. What were you doing right before this? Maybe you were making coffee, or you were scrolling through your phone when you started this explainer. See? You just used both tenses perfectly without even thinking about it.